This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here with Chris and Tony on the afternoon show here in the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Lots of good stuff to talk about today. Obviously, a couple of things that come to mind is can Miami upset Ohio State? Can Bama upset Indiana, which is a weird thing to say, but that's where we are in the standings. And a lot more things we're going to talk about today, and I can't wait to get into it. Obviously, we got the Monday night recap to talk about implications for Tampa, Carolina, now that Atlanta has lost and what that means. So, Tony, without further ado, man, hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and a great New Year coming up. It's your show.
Yeah, let's jump into it, guys. Monday Night Football recap. Atlanta, man, jumped off big time in that first half, had a big lead. The Rams come back, tie it up, and Atlanta wins it with a late field goal. The Rams tried to get in position. Puka about made an outstanding catch. I thought he had it, and finally they showed that last view of it and showed that it wasn't a catch. And they would have been in possible field goal range to possibly tie it. The Rams really came out flat, guys. I don't know what happened there. They just wasn't ready to play for some reason. Atlanta wins 27-24. Atlanta 345 total yards of offense, 126 passing, but 219 rushing. And that's got to be a little concerning for the Rams. Usually do a better job in that against the run. The Rams had 363 total yards, 248 passing, 115 rushing. Big thing here in this game, 3 interceptions. I mean, quarterback did not have a real great night. Chris, your thoughts on this game, and was you surprised the Rams came out not ready to play?
Yeah, I was surprised they got off to such a slow start. I'll be honest with you. I watched about the first quarter and a half, and I turned the game off. I started watching some other stuff. I was watching some college football stuff. I couldn't really get into the game last night for some reason. But yeah, like Falcons showed up to play from the bat, right off the bat, and it took the Rams a little while to get going, and they got back into the game, but it just was a little too much to overcome. Especially with, like you said, the turnovers. And then Bijan Robinson is tough. When he gets going, that dude's as good as any of them. It just seems like you just never know if he's going to get going. But hey, now Atlanta can't make the playoffs, but Atlanta can control a lot of what happens in the NFC South. If Atlanta wins, Carolina's in no matter what. So even if Carolina loses to Tampa Bay, if Atlanta wins, they're in. So the South could come down to the Atlanta game.
Yeah, I'm looking. Atlanta plays New Orleans, but now
New Orleans is like a 4 or 5 game winning streak. New Orleans isn't no slouch.
Now Carolina and Tampa Bay play Saturday, where the New Orleans Atlanta game will be on Sunday.
Yeah, so they won't know if that game means anything.
Means anything or not. Well, Atlanta, I think
Carolina won't know if that game means anything. You know what I mean? They won't know if that game means anything when they play. That's good that game's after, because if that game was before, if it was the other way around and the Atlanta game was on Saturday and Atlanta won, then that game on Sunday wouldn't mean nothing.
Exactly.
But since it's
going to be really super hard. It's going to be super hard for Tampa to get in. Just because of, like you said, if Atlanta wins, they're out. If Carolina wins, obviously they're out. I mean, the only way they can win is if they win and Atlanta loses. I mean, and I hate when you have to have help to get into something.
Yeah. Jay, your take on the game, and then I got a question about both of you, both of you about Atlanta.
Yeah, this game really had a lot of implications to it. Number one, let's just start off with the craziest one. Let's talk about the MVP race. Now that Stafford had a really rough game, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Those 3 picks kind of put him in alignment with Drake May, which really puts now the ownership on Drake May. If he wants to be the MVP, he needs to win this next game really well. And I think that probably catapults him in to be the MVP winner. Honestly, I think it's gonna come down to how he plays this next game, given that the performance that Stafford just had. Secondly, I thought they both ran the ball well. I thought Kyron Williams won the ball. I think it was like seven yards a carry, but they didn't run the ball but 20 times, and I think 9 of them was for Kyron. I don't understand, and it's not like they were getting blown out. They were still in the game. I don't know why they didn't run the ball more with him. Neither one of these guys passed the ball really great. I mean, Cousins had a moderate game, 119, something like that, yards, not a whole lot. No touchdowns, but no turnovers, which is good for him. But Bijan Robinson, man, they fed that guy the rock. He had damn near 200 yards rushing. So, and last time I checked, Rams had no sacks. So no defense from the Rams, very little offense, and lots of turnovers. Yeah, that's a recipe for a great game. I can understand why you turn it off, Gonzo.
I was following it because it mattered to me on fantasy football. I turned on the fourth quarter after Raw was off and watched it. And I want to talk about the MVP thing in a minute. But the question, Atlanta's really started playing better since Cousins is coming to the lineup, guys. Do you think? I mean, I think Cousins is still under contract. Do you think maybe Atlanta would go? Does Atlanta go back to him to be the starter next year, or do you think they're fully committed to the young guy? Chris, what do you think?
Well, I think some of it depends on Penix's health, but
may depend on who the coach is. May depend on who the coach is.
Well, I think Raheem Morris might still be the coach. I don't think they're going to fire him. I think they're going to give him because this is on his second year, if I'm correct. I think they'll give him at least another year. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cousins isn't their starter. I think they gave up on Cousins too quick last year, coming off that Achilles injury. And Cousins looks like a totally different. You can tell he's healthy now. He looks like he's playing good ball, and Atlanta's looked a lot better on offense since he's been in there. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you're paying him all that money. Why not use him, especially if Penix isn't 100% healthy? But Penix still needs some development. So I'd go with Cousins that you're paying.
Yep.
Try to develop Penix some more, and then go with the Penix.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of agreement with what Gonzo's saying. I do differ a little bit with the Penix thing. The only thing I difference is, look, this doesn't surprise me with Cousins. We know Cousins can facilitate an offense. We've seen him do it for years. That's why he keeps getting these big contracts. So it's not like what he's doing with Atlanta is out of the ordinary, because he's done it before, right? He struggled a little bit. They benched him, as every quarterback gets. But, with like every other quarterback gets, when you get injured, well, then you come back in the game, and he made the most out of it. And he's continued to make the most out of it. Now, in terms of if he comes back or not, I don't think he's going to get the big contract anymore. So he's going to have to take hell of a lot less money, I believe, because of his age and things of that nature. But I think they bring him back, especially if Penix isn't ready to go to start the season. Then you would definitely bring him back, and hopefully on a cap-friendly deal, and roll from there. But if Penix isn't healthy, then you give him another shot to keep doing what he was doing. And if Penix is healthy, this is kind of where I go left a little bit. If Penix is healthy enough to start the season with no issues, then I think you got to go back with Penix, because that's your franchise guy. That's the future of your team. So I don't know if you want to necessarily rack his confidence level by staying with Cousins, even though he's perfectly healthy. I think that kind of sends a crazy message to your quarterback that's going to be possibly your future. So I'd probably keep Cousins as a secondary quarterback, Penix at the number one, if he's healthy enough to carry the number one. But if he's not healthy, then I would go obviously with Cousins. Either way, I still think this duo stays together. It just depends on how you want to arrange it, depending on Penix's health.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I see both sides of what you guys are saying. And I really don't disagree with either one of you. The only thing like Chris said, if you think he's got more development to do and he's not quite ready, if you put him in there and he's not ready and you have to pull him and bring Cousins in later on in the season, that could do damage too. So it's kind of finding that right balance, what's best for this young. And of course, we don't know the young guy's state of mind, and they know that more than we do, and they know more how healthy he is. I do agree with both of you. If he's not healthy, if he's only 70, 80%, no. I mean, he's got to be 100% ready to go, or he's not on that field. I definitely agree with that. now I want to bring up the MVP race. I've seen some guys talking on TV, Arlovsky, and I thought he brought up a good point that kind of it's a pretty tough race between two guys, May and of course the quarterback from the Rams, Stafford. Tell you who also has got pretty good numbers is Goff, but they ain't had a whole lot of success this year. And the guy that's come on strong as of late is the Jacksonville quarterback. He's really came on strong as of late, but I don't think he's there. A lot of people are on the May bandwagon, and I understand that he's had a great year. But the reason I would go with Stafford is because he's played straight from schedule 6th in the league compared to May, who's played the 30th straight from schedule. They've got very similar numbers. So it's very close. I think one's got a better quarterback rating, but one's got more touchdowns. I mean, it's very close. It's a very close race, and I'm not saying that I think it'd be wrong if May gets it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I had a vote because of the strength of schedule and what he has done, and some people would say, well, the Rams have a stronger team. You could say that to a certain degree, but also, like you brought up about the Sharman schedule, so I don't know, but hey, you got to perform on the field and you got to win. You still play those games and you got to win them. So I don't want to say that his thing's not as strong. So I guess in a way I am, but for me, if I had a vote, I would go with Stafford, but I wouldn't be mad if either one of them got it. Jay, your take.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hard thing to choose from because, on one hand, you got a quarterback who's been in the league for, almost 2 decades and has had a very incredible career, both with Detroit and then now with Seattle, and obviously gets the ring with Seattle. So, I mean, with the Rams, and he goes on to get a ring with the Rams, and it shows how good he is there. I mean, so this guy's had an impressive resume. It's like the proven versus the unproven. It's the proven of the Rams. They've had they call for Super Bowl. They still have a very competitive team, great defense, great offense, great running back, the whole nine, right? Rams got the whole nine. Then you get a team like New England coming in, and also the Rams have been tested, so we know what they are capable of doing. And then you look at this new look New England team. Now, if you would talk about the past, then yeah, it's a proven team, but we're not in the past anymore. We're in the present and the future, and the present and the future is right now. This team is untested. They're unproven. They've had a couple of games against above 500 teams, but really they're unproven. So again, but then you go to, well, who's got the better record? Better record goes to New England. Who has still a possibility of being the number 1 seed? Of course, I'm wrong. I think New England still has a possibility to snag the number 1. So there's a lot of things that are still up in the air for me to determine who should be the MVP. I think if May finishes it off with the win. I think if he finishes off with the strong win and not a controversial, if he finishes off with the strong win and then has the best record in the league going into the playoffs, I think you almost got to look at it because the only thing you're really going against him is strength of schedule and the team as a whole being unproven. Now, those are 2 very big things. So I don't know. I mean, it's almost one of those things, Tony, where like you get a bunch of voters in the room and you're going to be down to their opinion. And not necessarily the facts, but it's going to be whatever voters' opinion. And it could very well be Stafford because if it's a legacy award and he has more of a legacy in the game, they could very well give it to him based on that alone.
And both guys are set up for possibly big games. The Rams play Arizona. Again, I mean, are the Rams playing for anything? They're either going to be the 5 or 6 seed. So if they win, they're guaranteed the 5th seed. If they lose, they may be the 6th seed, and that's not for sure. Of course, New England doesn't have a real tough opponent. They got Miami at New England. So, both those guys should be set up for pretty good games, both quarterbacks. So, it's going to be interesting to see who they pick. Chris, what do you think?
If I had a vote, and I'm voting for the MVP this year, it would be Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. When did the MVP become an award about how good your whole team is, how many wins your team has? MVP is supposed to be the most valuable player. Who's more valuable to their team than Josh Allen? If you look at his numbers, they're right up there with Drake May and Matthew Stafford. You take Josh Allen off that team, they might have won 3 games this year. I mean,
I can't argue
that. Why he does passing the ball, he's completing almost 70% of his passes. he's having an MVP type year, but they won't give it to him because even though his team's going to be in the playoffs and has a good record, they're not the number one, not the number one seed. MVP isn't a team award; it's a most valuable player award, so it shouldn't go by who the number one seed is. But yeah, in my opinion, I'd give it to Josh Allen. But I think Drake May and Stafford are pretty even. I would lean towards Stafford a little bit, but that's just me being a little biased because I'm a big Stafford guy. I wouldn't have a problem with either one of them, but me personally, I would vote for Josh Allen.
You know, I agree with you on that because trust me, I've said for years that I don't think it should just go to your team because your team has the best record. I've been saying that forever, but I've come to the realization. Oh yeah. I've come to the realization, and you see this in the NBA too. The same situation goes on in the NBA when they're doing their MVP, right? And it just always seems to go to what player has the best record and the best team and this, that, and the other, and that's how they vote it, regardless of whatever this guy did statistically.
Or it goes by whatever narrative the media has built.
Exactly, 100%. 100%. Because you can't tell me that they don't have some influence on that mess. But I will say this though. On May's behalf, man, that kid. Look, this team has literally been assembled in 1 year. They've only been together 1 year. The team, and yet, again, it goes back to strict discussion. We can make that argument all damn day, and I can't really fight you on that either because I'm the one that said they have a soft ass kid, so I get all that too. I think it just goes down to when the voters go into that room. What is their criteria that they're going to vote on? Are they going to vote on strict schedule? Are they going to vote on stats? Are they going to vote on where your team is placed in the standings? I mean, I don't know. Only they know that. But I can see your point for Josh Allen, though. I can.
And it is a in-season award. I don't think the playoffs count because, for example, what if New England's who's the number two seed right now? Let's say that holds. Let's say Denver wins and keeps the number one seed, and New England stays at the number 2 seed if they win. Because I still think there's a possibility Jacksonville, if New England and Denver lost, Jacksonville could get the number 1 seed. That's not impossible. They would both have to lose. That say if New England plays their first game right now, New England's the number 2 seed. If they played right now, they played Buffalo. Buffalo beat New England at New England. So what if that game happens and Buffalo beats New England? And their season's one and done in the playoffs. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, you don't know. I think there's out of the AFC teams, 3. I'm going to say there's 4 or 5 teams I feel like could win it. The NFC, about the same. So probably about 5 teams, and I could have went 6 maybe. But with Green Bay, with the injuries, I think that's hurt them. So I don't know. Right, the standings I'm looking at right now, you'd play Buffalo. They've got them at the 7th seed. You're the 2 seed. Yeah, right now.
That sounds about right. If it stays the same,
but that could change. I'm not saying that couldn't change. But what I'm looking at earlier today that that's what it says. So Buffalo was the 7th seed, Chargers was 6th seed, but things can change. I mean, New England still got a shot for that number 1 seed. Jacksonville still got a shot for the number 1 seed. Chargers could move. Buffalo could move to the 6th seed. So I mean, it's not impossible. Still, some things can move around.
Yeah. What's up, Frankie? Happy birthday!
Birthday boy.
What's going on, guys? Thank you.
How's it going?
Eating some mashed potatoes right now. Chilling. About to get the Jack Daniels cracked open and get ready.
Getting ready to party. That sounds good.
Okay.
Chris, your take on the AFC as it looks right now, which I know changes could be made. With Denver 1, New England 2, Jacksonville 3. We do know 4 is going to be Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That's one thing that we do know. One of them is going to be the number 4 seed. Houston 5, Chargers 6, Buffalo 7 as of right now. What I looked at this morning. Your take on the AFC right now?
Not much of it's really going to change going into the playoffs. Most of them are pretty set where they're going to be. I mean, you could have a couple move here and there, like you said. Either Pittsburgh or Baltimore is going to win the division, or they're going to be out. They don't have a chance for a wild card. Denver's looking good going in, and Jacksonville's a team I'd be watching out for too. They're hot. That defense is playing good, and Trevor Lawrence is playing best ball he's probably played since he's been in the league. But New England's looking real tough too. New England, that new offense looked real good on Sunday, so it's going to be interesting. But to me, I think the top three teams right now would be New England, Denver, and Jacksonville in the AFC.
Yeah, that's hard to argue.
I think them are the three teams that are playing some of the best ball.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. Buffalo's really up and down. Houston, I think, could be dangerous with the defense. Whether they can score enough points to make a complete run and make it to the Super Bowl, I don't know. I think they've got the defense too. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, Denver is definitely is my if I had to say top four teams, I think at the AFC that have a legit shot at a deep run. Denver's one of them. I know it's going to sound crazy because where they are in the standings, but I do think Houston can make a long, deep run. I think they have the defense to do it. And I think they have the offense that can get it also done. I think New England. You have to put New England there because they have the record. And even though we can gripe about the South Salters schedulers all day long, at the end of the day, they deserve it. And so I'd put New England in there probably as my third team, and then the fourth team. Jacksonville, like you said, Gonzo. They're a team on the rise. I mean, they are heating up. So obviously Jacksonville's in there, and that would definitely be my top four. And I think all four of them can make it to the Super Bowl if the things go right for them. I think they can make it.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll win it, but I think they can. They all have an opportunity, I think, to make it.
Frankie, what do you think?
Fuck them all. That's what I think. It's my birthday. I can say what I want. Fuck them all, Tony. Straight up. Denver ain't doing a comeback on us. We ain't got to worry about Buffalo because we already know that the Chargers are going to lose because they're sitting Justin Herbert. So the Chargers are going to have to come to Cold Foxborough because we're going to beat Miami. So then we're going to go on and we're going to beat Justin Herbert in the silly Chargers. Then we're going to go on and beat whoever we got to beat in the divisional round because I ain't scared. You want to know why? Because I truly feel that New England is the one true complete team. Everybody loves each other. They play together. They love playing under Vrabel. They love playing under Josh McDaniels. The defense click. Even when our starters are down, the second string, stand up and play hard. I'm loving this team inside and out. It's a real brotherhood ship in there. And I know other teams are like that too, but there's also some players that are in that locker room that ruins that type of brotherhood ship. And I think in New England, we have a tighter group formed together to play as one. And, we all have the same goal one by one. The first goal is the AFC East. We got it. We wanted to lock down a home playoff game. We got it. And now we have to just, get to that playoff game and win whoever we got to face. Either if it's Buffalo, I ain't scared. What? If it's the Chargers, I ain't scared. Who? Even if we have to go to Denver and play the Denver Broncos, Chris already knows this. We've been saying this since day one. Denver's a fraud. And I'll go to Denver and show them that they're frauds. Because you want to know why? We got the future MVP in Drake May. Say it again. What? Drake May. Let's go. Fuck them all, Tony.
Can I just say one? I just want to say one thing.
No, don't say nothing. It's my birthday.
No, I just want to say just one thing. That entire monologue that he just gave was just straight up from the voice of a fan. I didn't hear one analyst remark in there, but there's a lot of fandom. Not very much actual.
As a fan and an analyst, Frankie, does it bother you at all that if the Chargers do set their players? I mean, because if the Chargers was to play Denver and beat Denver, then you guys win. You got the number one seed.
Yeah, I wanted that to happen. And then once the news broke out that Jim Harbaugh said Justin Herbert was going to be sitting out, he's going to be sitting out starters, I knew right there. Because Denver actually has to play their starters to win that game so they can get the home field advantage in the first round bye. So when I seen that news, it upsetted me a little bit. And then I'm like, you know what? We're going to be stuck at the second seed because Justin Herbert's not playing. I don't believe in Trey Lance. Nobody believes in Trey Lance. That's why this is like his sixth team in 3 years. So I already know right now that Denver's going to win that. And I already know that the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Jets. So that right there is going to switch, and we're going to end up playing the Chargers.
You knew he had to sit Herbert. I mean, that's a good decision on his part because the Chargers don't have a shot at getting, number one seeds or anything like that. So and they've already secured the playoffs.
Yeah, they're at the 6th seed. I don't know if they could have moved. Well,
they could have got to 5th.
Yeah. Now, if they lose and Buffalo wins, can Buffalo catch them and go to 6?
If they lose and Buffalo wins, Buffalo goes to 6, Chargers go to 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I mean, if you know that you're not necessarily fighting for home field advantage, or you don't have the opportunity to fight for home field advantage, then I would rest Herbert because at least I'm going to give him an extra week of not having to be contacted, and let's see if we can rest that hand up a little bit better.
That's true, but also think of it like this, Jay. You're a Chargers player. You play in sunny California, right? If you win this game and at least secure a 6th or 5th spot, I mean, obviously, if you get a 5th spot, you're gonna either have to go to Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
Yeah,
we don't know. But if you get the 6th spot, you're going to Jacksonville. That's a sunny place. Yeah. You're comfortable in a sunny place. Now, if you lose this game, you're gonna have to go to New England, where it's cold in January.
Yep.
I don't think the Chargers play well in the cold. I think we've seen that before. Justin Herbert does not play well in the cold. So I mean, I get it. Sit them because you locked in a playoff spot, but where you want your team to feel more comfortable, in the cold or in the warmth? I think they want to be in the warmth, but that's Jim Harbaugh for you, and hopefully it's going to screw them because at the end of the day, they're going to lose to Denver, and then they're going to come to New England, be cold, and lose to us, and it's just going to be a first-round exit for them, and I'm going to come back in here and say, Jay, suck it because you called us a first-round exit. But
yeah,
that's coaching for them.
Yeah, if I was the Chargers, I would try to win. And like I said, you still got a shot at the 5th seed. And I'd rather play Baltimore or Pittsburgh than I would, honestly, New England or Jacksonville. I think definitely over New England So I don't know. I'm not sure. NFC guys, right now Seattle's 1, Chicago's 2, Philly's 3. We do know Carolina or Tampa Bay, one of those is going to be 4. San Francisco's the 5 right now. But they could jump all the way to number 1. So that's not impossible. Them in Seattle, I think, could switch places, I believe. I think that's how it would work. The Rams are at 6. I think they're pretty locked in there, I believe. And Green Bay's at 7. Chris, your thoughts on the NFC?
Yeah, NFC's interesting because I think your two of the 3 wild card teams might be the best teams in the NFC. With the Rams going to be a wild card, and the 49ers. 49ers are one of the hottest teams in the NFC as well, and both of them could end up being wild cards. I know 49ers could still get the 1 seed.
Well, it's either going to be Seattle or San Francisco, and then the Rams. So you're going to have 2 really good teams.
2 of your top 3 teams in the NFC are going to be wild cards, no matter what.
Yeah. And then you're gonna have an under 500 record team in the division, like in a divisional lead, like this.
Yeah. Hosting a playoff game.
Yep. I wish they would change that.
But no, Jay, in the NFC, I like, of course, the 3 teams out of the same division with San Francisco, Rams, and Seattle, and then the other team I'd have in my top 4 would be Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. Don't believe in Chicago?
I just, their defense relies too much on the turnovers for me. And the Eagles, I know the Eagles' offense has struggled some, but they're still finding.
Yep. We've seen it happen before.
Way in games and their defense. But the Bears, just some of the ways they win games are some of the weirdest, and I don't want to call it luck, but weirdest and sometimes flukiest ways. And I just think that's going to end up running out on them. I still think they're maybe a year away. But yeah, I like the 3 teams out of the 1 division, and then I think the Eagles are still a real dangerous team.
I just don't know if they can score enough points, but we'll see. Joe's right. He picked Atlanta last night. So, Frankie, your thoughts on the NFC?
The NFC is kind of like up and down. I agree with what Mr. Chris said. I mean, the three teams in that division is obviously, or in that conference right now, is in the same division. I do think San Francisco is going to get that 1 seed because I said about 2 weeks ago after the Rams lost to Seattle, I said to you guys, like, hey, the San Francisco got a shot here to win this division late into the season, like literally with the last 2 weeks left, and it's actually going in their favor. I just like the way Brock Purdy's playing, even without George Kittle. They looked fantastic against the Chicago Bears. That was a good game. I think that was like the best game of the year by far, between those two guys or those two franchises. But Brock Purdy looked great. Christian McCaffrey is he's absolutely killing it right now. He's on another level. And just to think Fred Warner might be able to come back for the playoffs. So that's gonna make their defense even dangerous with his leadership and his voice. So I think San Francisco is gonna get that 1 spot and beat Seattle. So the one thing I'm looking at is Green Bay. They're sitting at the 7th seed. They're gonna have to play Chicago. That's gonna be a good game. I feel like those two right there, because at that time Green Bay's offense is gonna be healthy. You're gonna have Jordan Love back. Josh Jacobs going to be well a bit rested. Obviously, their defense is a bit hurt, but if their offense is okay and can get their points, I feel like it's going to be a good game, especially with them playing in Chicago. We all know Green Bay loves beating Chicago in Chicago, so it'll be a good game. I'm agreeing with Chris. I'm not real iffy. Like I said to Jay, I think Chicago can compete with these NFC teams, and then Jay took it another way. He thought I'm over here saying that Chicago can make it to the Super Bowl and stuff. And I had to explain to him, like, no, I'm saying that they can compete. I don't think they can win these games because we've seen that, like against San Fran on Sunday night, they drove the ball down the field, but they couldn't get the finish. I feel like that's where Caleb Williams is still learning as a young talent quarterback. Because if you look down the other side of the field, DJ Moore was wide open, and I get it. It was a long pass. He'll have to throw it to Bumfuckville just to get it to DJ Moore. So he had to do what he had to do. But in those situations, that's where you're still learning. And I feel like those type of mistakes is where it's going to cost Chicago in the playoffs. But to me, this NFC picture, it looks fantastic. I think right now it has to be between San Fran, Seattle, and the Rams. Don't sleep on the Rams just because they have a bad couple games. Doesn't mean that, it's troublesome. If anything, it's going to make Matthew Stafford even more dangerous. And they're going to have Devontae Adams back.
That's what I was getting ready to say. They're going to get Devontae Adams back.
Yeah, like Devontae Adams was hurt. So, he's going to have his go-to red zone guy there back in the playoffs. So, the Rams are going to be a bit dangerous come playoff time. So, be on the lookout. It's definitely got to be an NFC West division team that's going to probably represent the Super Bowl. But also, Jay, I heard what you said this morning on the Coast to Coast show. Philly is kind of still, their offense is iffy, and Tony's right. They're not scoring much points, but their defense is getting back into form. That defense is getting back into form. You've seen what Jalen Carter did, blocking that field goal. That's exactly what Philly needs out of that defense, because guess what? It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win, and you got the win. So as long as your defense is getting to form, don't even worry about that offense. I have no doubt that the Eagles will make it to the NFC Championship game.
Okay. And Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, Frank, it's a good thing we don't plan our lives around what you do or do not think, because we'd all be screwed. Of course, I'm just teasing you. I love you. No, I agree with most of what Frankie said.
I looked around yours, we'd be burning ourselves.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, I burnt the shit out of myself over the weekend. No, hey, my thing about it is, number one, with Philadelphia, I'm just gonna start there. Lane Johnson, we still don't know if he's going to be back at the right tackle spot. That's still a big spot to be missing. I don't know how much longer they can go without having him there. That's a big cornerstone for that team on the offensive line. Number two, Nakobe Dean's questionable. I haven't looked too much into his injury, so I don't know how much effect that's going to be on him. He may be fine to play the game. They only list as questionable, so we'll find out more on whenever the injury report comes out for that game. But, when I look at Philadelphia, man, it's a good team. They're a good team, no doubt about it. But you can take them from the champions. But that offense has still got issues. I don't know if it's a psychological thing, if it's a locker house thing, but there's still something toxic going on within that offense that I just don't think it's going to get them where they need to go. They're going to do well in the playoffs, but I don't think they make it to the Super Bowl by any means. I just don't think that's going to happen. I do think the two teams that are going to make the NFC Championship game, and my whole heart, I believe it's going to be Seattle and the Rams if it lines up that way. The other team that I would say would have the chance of making the Super Bowl at the NFC would, like you said, San Francisco. Those three teams in that division is just incredible for various reasons. I think Chicago's not there yet because they're still young. They're like New England, and they're still a young team. Ben Johnson has turned that team around, like Vrabel has turned his team around. And both of those teams both of those coaches are putting cultures there that are going to eventually lead them to the Super Bowl. I just don't think this is the year for them to do it. I still think they got some more things to figure out on both of those teams, New England and Chicago, but they're very close to being there. I just think the West in the NFC is too tight. It's too tight, and it's too good over there. And I think the defenses. We know the Rams and the Seattle had the two best defenses in the leagues. They both have great running backs in Charbonnet and Walker versus Kyron Williams and Corum. So it's not like that. The run game is there. Again, Devontae Adams coming back to them just gives them that another threat for LA to compete along Shaheed and Jackson Nakua and Najibba, wherever JSN. We'll say JSN. I think JSN is a hell of a good athlete. That guy is a hell of a good athlete. Seriously, that guy's amazing. And I think that's going to be one of the things that could make Seattle over the top is JSN and how he plays. San Francisco, again, McCaffrey's great. I just don't think they have enough fully on that offense to compete with San Francisco. And they're going to be there, I promise you. But I just don't think – I think the Rams and the Seahawks are my two best.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you don't think San Francisco has enough on offense?
No, I don't. And I stick by that. McCaffrey's great. The thing with McCaffrey that scares me with him is I just never know. He's one play away from an injury all the time because they use the hell out of him. You know he's injury prone.
Every player is one play from an injury.
No, I get it. No, but let's take it one step further. Who has the more likelihood? Let's look at the likelihood of it.
And
I understand everybody can turn an ankle. I get that.
I think
everybody's more about likelihood.
I think everybody's forgetting that the Eagles scored 33 points and beat the Rams this season. So it ain't like the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers are just years above the Eagles.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken,
I'm not saying about years above. No, I never said that. What I said about the Eagles, is
wait a minute, and you say San Francisco's offense don't have enough.
That's my damn comment. Give him. Okay.
I hadn't finished my comment. So what the fuck?
We were finished.
I was still talking.
Go ahead.
But anyway,
I want to hear what you got to say.
But anyway, and when you say San Francisco have enough on offense, they have a better quarterback than what Seattle does. Brock Purdy's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. And they got McCaffrey, and they got Pearsall. They got plenty on the offense. Where the 49ers are hurting right now is defense.
And don't forget, Kendrick Bourne is actually turning his season around back this year.
Yeah, 500 yards.
Better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
Hey, look, we all seen what Sam Darnold can do as well. Let's not act like Sam Darnold's garbage. Has he had some rough games?
Hold on, because Sam Darnold's two different.
I don't know, because when he was with Minnesota, he was looking pretty damn good in Minnesota. I mean, let's be honest.
What Sam Darnold's doing right now with Seattle is the same thing he's doing with Minnesota. But what I feel like he's gonna do the same exact thing. He's giving them the records, he's giving them the wins. But you're gonna go into the playoffs and you're gonna be one and done. That's exactly what he did with Minnesota. I feel like Sam Darnold is not ready, like playoff material ready. I think he's still learning. Obviously, he's not young. He's been in the league more than 5 years. But because like last year was his first playoff appearance ever in his career, he's still learning that route of playoff play. And Brock Purdy's been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I think what Jay's trying to say, and if I'm wrong, Jay, I'm not trying to speak for you, but this is where I'm kind of taking it. If you look at San Francisco's receiving core and you look at Seattle's receiving core and the Rams' receiving core, I think on paper,
I appreciate that. That's exactly
on paper, the other two look better. But now I will say this: San Francisco's guys have stepped up. Their receiving core in the last 5 or 6 weeks have really stepped up. And if they keep playing like they're playing, on paper, there's no doubt about it. Their receiving core doesn't compare, especially with the Rams when their receiving core is healthy. But I think McCaffrey, again, I think he can do so much. And Purdy is playing so well right now because he's come back from that injury. I think he's fully healthy. And all the receivers have stepped up. Like I said, Bourne has stepped up. And there's a couple other names. I can't remember their names.
So you got Pearsall, Bourne, and Jennings. Jennings is probably their I guess, their quote-unquote number one.
Let's just forget about one of the best tight ends in the league in George Kittle.
I didn't even get
they don't have no weapons.
Hey, but I've also seen Kittle disappear in games.
No, I agree.
Like
the Rams have better receivers. I agree. They have better receivers. I agree with that. But
on paper, I think you can say that.
Even on paper, I think Seattle matches well with the Rams compared to Seattle. with receivers and tight ends. I feel like it's more equal with San Fran and the Rams compared to Seattle. Honestly, I can only name like 2 receivers on Seattle that's a go-to for Sam Darnold.
Well, you got Cup, right? Wait, you got Cup, you got you got JSN, and then they got that third kid. I can't remember his name, but I understand where you're going with that. But here's the thing: I just think Seattle is a little bit more balanced as a team overall. Overall, I think defense and offense, special teams, coaching. I think Seattle is a little bit more balanced than where San Fran is. I just don't have as much confidence because you got to remember, Seattle's got probably the best defense. The only one that can challenge their defense, I would say, is the Rams. I think the Rams, and that's why I feel like Seattle and the Rams are so close. What you say?
What's so funny, Chris? I want to hear it. What's so funny,
Well,
Chris?
I think Philadelphia's defense.
Because now Seattle has the best defense, but just the last 2 weeks, all I've heard is Houston has the best defense ever. That's why they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
I said, I don't know where you do you right now what I say, because I said Houston does have an elite defense. And anybody says Houston
they have the best defense in the league, is what you said.
But yeah, I said I believe what I said.
You just said Seattle has the best.
I said was one of the best, but I said one of the best. But if you say I said the best, I'd put Houston's defense there with Seattle's. I would. I think anybody would put their defense there with Seattle. Offensively,
that defense.
Offensively, you can say what you want. I mean, offensively, you can say what you want. I just think from if we're comparing San Francisco to Minnesota, because that's what I was doing. If we're considering, not Minnesota, if we're comparing Seattle to, the 49ers. I apologize. 49ers to Seattle's defense. I think that's where I was leaning towards. I felt like Seattle's a more complete team defensively and offensively, and I think 49ers still have a less defense than what Seattle does. Let's put it that way.
I can see why, because of the injuries, probably.
Yeah, no, I agree. Seattle's defense is a little bit better than San Francisco's defense right now.
And I thought the Rams were, but the Rams defense hasn't played as well as of late. As of late, the last few games, the Rams defense hasn't looked quite as good.
Hold on a minute. Joe, shut up.
Look, even your brother Joe agrees with me.
Man, Joe over there drinking Beano. He don't know.
Brother Joe. Okay, guys, let's move on to some college. We got some playoffs.
Shut up, Joe. Nobody asked you.
We got the college playoffs, man. Should be a real good tournament here. Last 8 teams left. Wednesday night, guys, December 31st, 7:30 p.m. We've got Miami, number 10 seed, taking on the number 2 seed, Ohio State. Chris, what are you thinking? Who you got?
I think Ohio State's going to win by 10. I think it'll be a decent game, but I think Ohio State's going to be a little too. Miami's physical, but Ohio State's physical as well. I think Ohio State's going to be able to win on the line of scrimmage. Now, Ohio State defense is awful tough. I think Ohio State wins by 10 points.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think by at least a touchdown, but I'm going with Ohio State also. If Miami can get to the quarterback, that could make a difference, but we'll see. What do you think, Frankie?
Go figure that your father will pick whatever you pick, right? He agrees with everything that you pick. But guess what, Tony? You ain't agreeing on an old fantasy Super Bowl.
Hey! No, yes I am. Not this one, but I won one. I got $200 in my pocket. I finally won one.
Hey, you got the money, but guess what? I'm gonna walk away with the gold. I think that this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be a good matchup, but because it's like in a dome and it's gonna be in Jerry's World of AT&T Stadium over there in Arlington, Texas, the home of Jay's beloved Dallas Cowgirls. I honestly think that Miami's going to step up this game and play better than what they did in the last game, just because it's not going to be wind effective. They're going to be inside a dome. Ohio State's going to bring the hammer out, obviously, because they're well rested. But I also think that Miami's going to look at that footage of how Michigan, or it wasn't Michigan, it was IU that beat Ohio State at that Big Ten championship game. So I think the learning process, especially having all this time off to rest with my Miami players and learn footage and everything like that, I feel like it's going to be a close game. I hear Chris and Tony thinking this going to win by like 10 for Ohio State. I think it's going to be much closer, and I'm going to go the opposite side. I think Miami's going to win this game probably by 6 points or less. I just think that Miami defense is a little bit more physical, and I do think that they're going to get to the quarterback. And I think Carson Beck, like I said, against and before the playoffs started. Carson Beck has been in this situation. He's been to the national championship before. So I no, don't sleep on Carson Beck. He knows how to, get the win and what he's got to do to get the win. So I'm going to go with Miami on this one by 6 points or less.
Okay. And Jay?
Yeah, man. First, hey, Jay, Joe, I apologize. Joe, man, it's okay, man. It's all good. Just remember one thing, like my daddy always told me, and what I learned as a prison guard working in the penal system, snitches get stitches.
You worked in a what system?
I worked in the penal system.
Oh, I thought
I
you
mean,
said
all kinds of
something else.
people
I'm sorry.
all kinds of people, all walks of life, have much respect for everybody in this life. But Joe, just remember, snitches get stitches. Just say, I don't know what that means. This is what they said a lot when I was around. Take that as you will. I thought it was interesting. I saw this graphic, and I thought it was kind of interesting before I get into this. The title odds for every team, and it's kind of interesting. So they got Ohio at 28% chance to win the title. Indiana's at 25.6 to win the title. Texas Tech is at 18.6. UGA is at 8.9, which I thought was really kind of weird. They had UGA so low. Oregon is at 8.6. Ole Miss at 6.8, which is weird that they had them ranked higher than they do Bama, which I think Bama has a better chance. And then they got Miami at 2.3. Just throw those little numbers out there. I just saw on the graphic today. Thought it was interesting.
So is Bama got the lowest odds?
Yeah, they give them 0.9% chance to win the title.
Oh,
I thought it was kind of weird if they put them over Ole Miss, because Ole Miss doesn't have. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But it was just weird.
Only team Ole Miss has lost to is Georgia. What do you mean Ole Miss don't have nothing?
Yeah, but I do. I mean, I understand the wins. I just, me personally, I think Bama's got a little bit better team. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean much. Just saying.
Being so nice because it's my birthday. Thank you.
Yeah. I do what I can. Screw you, man. You got hey, look, you got number 2 Ohio versus number 10 Miami, right? I mean, and Miami just came off that Big Ten loss to Indiana, so I'm wondering, how this is going to affect them going into the playoffs. I mean, I'm sure Ryan Day is going to have them on point. Ryan Day is usually really good at preparing his teams defensively. I think Ohio, that's their bread and butter defense, and I think defensively they're going to be pretty tough. This is interesting, though. It's a rematch of the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, which was the overtime thriller that we all know that the famous pass interference penalty that was called ultimately let Ohio get that win. But I thought it was interesting that we get to see another rematch. It's almost a revenge game, if you will, for Miami, since they did lose that overtime thriller. So it's going to be curious to see how that all works out. Again, these are different teams, different eras, so they may not even care, for all I know. It depends on how thick that school thickness goes in your blood when you go there. But no, Miami, I think they're a 12-point favorite, or was a 12-point favorite. I should say was a 12-point favorite at one point.
Miami's an underdog.
Are they the underdog? Okay.
Ohio State.
I might have wrote that down wrong, but yeah, I might have wrote that down wrong. So I apologize.
Last time I looked, Ohio State.
Yeah, I wrote that down wrong.
Like a 10-point favorite, but I haven't looked recently.
What's interesting about Ohio, and I wonder if they're going to do this again if they find themselves in the same situation versus Miami. When they were played in the Big Ten championship, they had 2 chances, one to either tie it or win it. And they couldn't convert it. They ultimately wound up losing on a missed field goal opportunity, which took them out of it. I'm wondering how that's going to play out if they find themselves in another situation like that. I think this is a good game. I think you're going to see a really good running back in Mark Fletcher. He's a very MVP kind of guy. So I'm curious to see him go up against Sayin. And the reason why I'm curious about that is, Sayin has a 90% accuracy rate right now. So he's a good decision maker. He's very accurate. So as his first year, I mean, the guy is killing it in his freshman year. So my thing is, and I think it kind of goes back to what you guys were saying, is can Carson Beck make the plays on this Ohio defense? Because it's probably going to be one of the better defenses that he's probably going to see. So I'm curious to see how well he does against that defense. He did throw 6 interceptions during the last 2 losses. So I'm curious to see how Carson comes back from that. He did complete 80% of his passes in the last 4 games, before the A&M game, I should say. So it's going to be curious to see if Miami and Carson Beck specifically, how is he going to run his offense? Can he get back on track? Can they come back from that A&M and continue to do what they're doing? So it's going to be interesting. The only thing I was going to say about it is Ohio's defense has not given up over 16 points, and Mendoza and company only put up 13 points, even though it got them the win, but they only put up 13 points. And I'm wondering, if Ohio's defense is going to contain that against Carson Beck and Miami. Can they keep them under 16 points? Miami has to get. I feel like Miami has to get that run game going in order to have a chance to get the win, because I feel like against this Ohio team, they've got to eat the clock. So that's my thing. I feel like Miami's got to, if they want to have a shot against Ohio, they've got to get Fletcher going. They've got to get Carson Beck going, but mostly they got to get Fletcher going. I feel like they have a shot at winning this game, and that's just more for time of possession purposes.
Who you picking, Jay? Miami?
That's what I'm thinking. Because here's the last thing I want to say is there's a wild card for Miami that Malachi Toney, because I like Malachi Toney because he reminds me of Micah Parsons, and the fact that he's a wide receiver, but you could put him anywhere. You know what I'm saying? He's a very universal type of guy. So I'm curious to see how they're going to, because he can line up anywhere. So I'm curious to see how they're going to line him up against Ohio. So a lot of strategy, I think, is going to be interesting. That's all I got to say.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure, you do.
You just talked for 5 minutes breaking that all down, and you never picked who was going to win the game.
Yeah,
I apologize. So no, my winner is Ohio. I'm going to pick Ohio, and I'm only picking Ohio because that Ryan Day. No, I'm picking Ryan Day's defense and how well he does that defense.
Okay. Next up, guys. Thursday.
Hey, hold on. One more, Chris, real quick before we continue. Since you were laughing at me, one number. Pick it. What number you think you're getting? What number? Pick the number, Chris.
Okay, can we move on to the next one, because we got after we go to the next game, we got 10 minutes to listen to you give us your thoughts on it. So let's move on to the next one.
Okay, guys, let's move on. Thursday, January 1st at noon, we got number 5 Oregon at number 4 Texas Tech. Frankie, who you got?
I'm going with Oregon. I know a lot of people are probably going to go with Texas Tech, but I feel like Oregon is a most complete team right now. They look really dominant. I feel like they had the only blowout win, 2 weeks ago in their first playoff game. I feel like they're not going to get it this time around, a blowout win, but they're definitely going to – I feel like I'm going to go on Chris's train right here and go with Oregon by 10 on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Oregon too. I think it could be close, but I like Texas Tech, but I'm going with Oregon. I've seen a lot more of them. I'm gonna go with them. Chris?
Of course, Joe. It would be a sin for you to go against a Texas team.
And real quick, Ohio State's a 9.5-point favorite in that game. Now I have the spreads up. I like Oregon in this game as well. Oregon is a 2.5-point favorite. I know Texas Tech has rolled all year, but all they've played has been Big 12 competition. We haven't seen them seen their defense against their line of scrimmage against a Big 10 line or SEC line of scrimmage. We haven't got to see that yet. We're going to get to see it this time. I agree with Frankie. I think Oregon wins this game by 10. Oregon's a good football team. A lot of people have got a little sour on them after they lost to Indiana. That's the only team that's beat them this year. Is the number 1 ranked team in the country, the only team that's beat Oregon. And people kind of got a little sour on them after that. And all they did is just go win games. I think Dan Lanning's a great coach. I do. I think Oregon wins by 10.
Okay. And Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. Texas Tech, man, this is another team I feel like has done a really good job in the transfer portal. I mean, this guy has brought in a lot of good pieces off of that transfer portal and really revamped this team into what it is now. The one thing about Oregon is, man, they got a lot of speed and a lot of playmakers on that team. And so I'm kind of curious to see that. I will say this, the one thing that I'm going to look for with Texas Tech is their cornerbacks and Bryce Pollock and Amira Boyd. They've only given up 39% completions to opposing quarterbacks. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out. I think they rank, if I'm not mistaken, I think they rank 7. They've had 7 interceptions and 8 breakups, and they have a success rate against fullbacks at 42.7. So I guess what I'm saying is Tech has the great defense. I think Oregon has the great offense, and that's really what it's going to be. Their D versus their O. And I think the knock on Texas Tech is that they've only, like I think Gonzo said that, they've only really had good games, or they've only lost 2 against 2 really good teams, BYU and I believe it was Utah. top 15 offenses. So they've only had faced 2 top 15 offenses. So I don't know how good that defense is going to be against against an Oregon ranked defense, but they've only played Utah and BYU, the top offenses. So that's one thing I'll be looking at. I'm going to go with Texas Tech in this, no doubt there, right? I just think they're going to be a little bit better team defensively, because I believe defense wins championships. And the only thing is, I wonder how we're going to match up offensively, given the fact that BYU and Utah were the only ones they faced. That's the only question mark I have, but I'm still going to roll with Texas Tech. I think it'll be a close game, though.
Yeah, I do. I think it will be too.
Oregon's defense isn't no slouch either.
Yeah, they got a pretty good defense. Next up, guys, Thursday, January 1st, 4 p.m. Number 9, Alabama seeded, and number 1 seed IU go at it. Chris?
Of course, you have to come to me. Hold on a second.
I can switch.
Yeah, go to somebody else real quick.
Let's go to Frankie.
These nuts.
You got to go to me.
Hey.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joshing. Yeah, I'm just joshing. It's my birthday. Hey, yo, no, seriously though, I think this is gonna be a good game. I know that I know IU is favored by probably a lot. But I'm gonna go with my boys on this one. Obviously, I'm not gonna go against my boys. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think we get a good upset here. I think we can somewhat be equally matched. Obviously, your offense is a little bit better. You got a Heisman Trophy quarterback winner, and we have a good quarterback in Ty Simpson. Hopefully, we could get the offense rolling fast in this game, not having to trail from behind. I honestly think that if we obviously not going to think you guys are OU, right? So obviously, if IU ends up with like a 17-point lead the way OU was against us, I honestly don't think that Alabama will come back on this game, just because you guys are a better completed team than OU is. You're number one in the nations for a reason, but I do think that we're gonna be ready for this game. We know how important this game is. I also think that weather is going to be a factor in this game as well. If I'm not mistaken, I've heard that it was going to be some crazy rain in this game at the Rose Bowl. So I think weather is going to be effective. So that's going to mean ground and pound. So hopefully we can get the running game going, because we did not have the running game against OU. Hopefully the running game can turn up in this game, because we're going to need the ground attack if this game is going to be some type of heavy rain. And hopefully the defense can step up against your quarterback and get to your quarterback on time. I'm not going to sit here and say that we are going to win. I'm just saying I'm going to ride with my boys for the win. Obviously, I want the upset. I want my boys to keep going and become national champions. But I'm also hoping for a good game, because, this is a tough competition for Alabama. I feel like this is going to be the toughest competition they had all year. Even a tougher competition than when we lost to OU and we lost to Georgia. I feel like this is going to be a strong competition, but I'm going to go with Alabama, just because it's my boys.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm going with IU. I think it's going to be a tough game. We got a pretty good running game, so the rain might favor us a little bit. I don't know. Of course, with rain, you can have turnovers, so you never know. I'll be honest with you, Frankie. I think Alabama's a really good team. I know they're number 9 seed, and they've been up and down a little bit, but when they're playing their best, they're definitely a top 5 team in the country when they're playing their best, in my opinion. Out of the teams in the tournament, I think that they're one of them that if they play their best, they could win it. I'm not gonna lie. So, because Alabama was one of the teams that worried me for IU. Alabama, of course, Georgia, and Ole Miss a little bit, and then Ohio State again. Another rematch with them would worry me, because they're a good team. And I'm not taking away from anything from the other teams. You just never know. I'm gonna go with IU. I'm going to go with IU by 6. I think it'll be a good game. I do agree with you, though. Alabama's got to get off to a good start. If they get off to a bad start like they did against Oklahoma, I don't think they can come back on IU. I agree with you on that. And the same for IU. If they get off to a bad start, it may be hard to come back against Alabama. But the weather could play a factor, so we'll see. And Jay.
Yeah, I mean, this game is awesome. I'm looking forward to this game, really. You guys just came off your first Big Ten national title in 58 years. Congratulations. That's a big thing to do. So it's great for you guys. So I know you guys are going to be feeling good off of that. Like Frankie said, and you guys have all said, it's going to be a lot of rain there. And so I wonder how slick the ball is going to be, how many intersections are possible, how much of the run game is going to be there versus the pass game. There's a lot of questions I'm curious to see how they come out with. I think Indiana has to come out and run the hell out of the ball, because Alabama is 127th against the run. So I think that's the biggest key for Indiana is get that running game going. And the problem with Mendota is a lot of his passes are contested. So I'd like to see Indiana's line give him more time to get the ball off, especially with the rain being a factor. But I think this is Indiana's offense versus Bama's defense. And I'm going to roll with Indiana on this. I think they're going to get the win. I think Mendoza, though, does get blitzed a lot. So I think the biggest thing for Indiana is you got to run the shit out of it, eat up the clock, and allow Mendoza and give Mendoza time to make the patterns that he needs to make. So, but I think Indiana's going to get it. I'm going to roll with Indiana on this. I think they're a little bit better team. And it wins because I think Bama, I actually have more stars than Bama, but Bama, even though their defense is a little lax, they've gotten a lot out of what they do have. But I'm going to roll with Indiana on it.
And Chris.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real good game, especially early in the season. To me, Alabama was the best team in the SEC. Then toward the end of the season, they started struggling a little bit. They had some injuries, weren't looking like the same team. But no, Alabama was a good team. I think a lot of people forget they went and beat Georgia at Georgia. Yes, they lost to Georgia the second time, but they went and beat Georgia at Georgia. To me, this game, I think IU wins the game. IU's a 7.5 point favorite. I think that's probably a little too much. I think it's going to be a close game. But I think the weather's going to be a factor. And actually, I think the rain could actually help IU. Alabama doesn't have a run game. They've been averaging like 1.1 yards a run. IU can run the ball, and Alabama's defense has had trouble stopping the run. So I think the rain could benefit IU a little bit in that way. But when it's raining that much, you also have to turnovers can be a factor. All kinds of different things can happen, so you never know. But no, I like IU here. Our offense, I think we'll be able to score points because we are balanced. We can run the ball. We can pass the ball. We do have Omar Cooper back, who we didn't have in the Big Ten champion. Well, he played like 3 plays in the Big Ten championship game. He's healthy. He'll be back. So that'll help us on offense. We'll have all our receivers. Yeah, I'm expecting a good football game. I think IU wins probably by around, I'm going to say 6 points, 6 to 10 points, somewhere right around there. I think it's going to be a real competitive game, because like I said, Alabama, to me, is one of the best teams in the SEC.
Yeah,
Can I give one quick stat that I think is interesting, and I think it kind of goes to what all you guys are saying is Indiana's offense owns third downs, but fourth downs they don't own it so much. Indiana goes for it 34% of the time when it's in opponent's territory. They're 8 of 16 on fourth downs in opponent's territory, which is really good. Bama goes for it 49% of the time in opponent's territory, converting 65% of the time. So that's a big thing. Third and fourth downs for both sides of the ball, for both teams, is going to be huge in who gets to win, in my opinion. Yep. That third and fourth downs is going to be huge.
But, again, the weather could play a factor in that too.
Yeah.
Especially on fourth down, where, the better weather, they'd be more apt to go for it, on a 4th and 3. And with bad weather, they may not. So
I'm just confused because I could have sworn that Chris said he's going with Alabama before he started talking. And then he switched to IU. No, I get it, Chris. It's okay. Whatever. You don't want to confuse the fans. I could have sworn.
Frankie, I know it's your birthday, and I love you.
I could have sworn you said
I'm not going against my team. I'm just like
that's
you.
The thing, because you're wearing the sweater. But I could have sworn you said Roll Tide, go Bama. But it's okay. I'm gonna accept it. You go with IU. It's all right.
Okay, guys. The last game for the playoffs, Thursday, January 1st, 8 p.m. Number 6 seed Ole Miss against number 3 Georgia. I'm gonna go first, guys, and I don't know if it's considered an upset or not, but I'm gonna go with Ole Miss. They pounded on Georgia a lot of that game and then fell apart in the fourth quarter. I know they don't have their head coach anymore, but they got most of their staff. I think it's a revenge game, and I know Georgia's a very good team, one of the best teams in the country, but I think Ole Miss is too. So I'm going with Ole Miss. Jay.
Yeah, I would love to see Ole Miss get this win. And the reason why I would love to see Ole Miss get this win is because of the way Lane Kiffin did them. And I feel like, if anybody deserves to get this win, it's Ole Miss. It's this, so and Kirby Smart, man. I've seen Kirby Smart a lot, living in Georgia when I lived there, and also playing against Kirby Smart here recently. And that guy is just a creative genius. When it comes to play calling, I don't know if anybody does it better than Kirby Smart. I mean, other than Nick Saban himself, I think Kirby Smart is just one of the best coaches in the game, hands down, bar none. It's going to be interesting because I guess Pete Golding, I don't even know who Pete Golding is, but that's going to be the guy that's taking over for Lane Kiffin as the head coach. I think he's a defensive guy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was a defensive coordinator, maybe. So it's going to be curious to see how he coaches his team versus the way Lane Kiffin coaches his team and how he commands his team like Lane commanded it. So I'm curious to see how he feels in as the coach going against one of the best coaches in college football right now. Mid-October, Smart did beat Kiffin when they were there, 45-35 in Athens. Smart came back from a 17-0 rout to turn that game around. So one thing I know about Kirby Smart is even if you get him down 17-0, don't count that dude out because he will find a way to get that win. The last thing I'll say about that is Ole Miss has averaged 37.7 points since that UGA loss. And that's why I wanted to bring that up. Even though they did take that loss, they bounced back. They put up great points. Their quarterback, Chablis, has torched OU for 315 yards, and I think 50 of it came from non-sack rushing yards. So I look to see Ole Miss bounce back, but I think UGA is going to be too much, man. I think that's just too much for Ole Miss. But it's going to be interesting to see how Golding commands this Ole Miss team against UGA.
Yep. Frankie.
Yeah, you could give me Ole Miss all day, every day. I wish both teams can lose. I wish both teams can make it to the next round. But I just hate Georgia just a wee bit more than I hate Ole Miss. It would be glad to see. I would be happy to see Ole Miss move on because it's been a while since we've seen Ole Miss go this deep into the playoffs. Georgia, I'm tired of Georgia. I hate Georgia. They're stupid Bulldogs. Like who has a little bulldog running around the field? It's just so dumb. So I'll take Ole Miss on this one. I get Joe saying he's got Georgia as well, and I hear Jay, you pick Georgia also, or you said Ole Miss, right?
No, I picked Georgia.
Yeah, see, stupid Texans. Give me Ole Miss.
No, we're not stupid.
I know. I'm just joshing.
We're not stupid people. I promise you that. But I understand what you're saying. But yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Like you said, Ole Miss dominated most that first game, and then Georgia was able to come back in the fourth quarter. Ole Miss collapsed. Ole Miss doesn't have Kiffin no more, but Golding is also a Saban guy as well. He was the defensive coordinator. He took over. One thing I do like about Ole Miss is, you don't have Kiffin, but you still have the same offensive coordinator, actually the same offensive staff because Kiffin, who done Ole Miss so wrong, but he sent his whole offensive staff back to Ole Miss to help coach this game, but he done them so wrong. So I do like that. Another big thing I do like is Ole Miss got to play a game where Golding was the head coach. So it's not like this is his first game as being head coach of this team. He coached them last week in the playoff game. I think that was a big thing for Ole Miss to have a game without Lane Kiffin, with that guy that guy being the coach, getting used to the way things were operating. So I do think that's a good thing. I think it's going to come down to the end, and I think Ole Miss is going to pull it out at the end with a 3-point win. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm planning on watching all these games. Should be a great Wednesday and Thursday. And guys, that's all I've got. Hope everybody has a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I know we'll be back on Friday to talk about these college games and talk about some NFL, break down some stuff for the NFL. So should be exciting times.
Hey, man, brother. And just to be clear, I don't mean to say that Lane Kiffin did him wrong because, they told him to leave. He offered to coach the team. It's not that. I just feel like Lane Kiffin always goes from program to program. Like he went to Tennessee, stayed there for maybe a year, less than a year, leaves. Then he goes to Ole Miss, builds them up, and then says he's going to leave. I just wish Lane Kiffin, for me as a coach, this is just a personal point. You know what I mean? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How many coaches have only coached at one program their whole career?
There's a few out there. There's a few out there. Not
Not
all.
many.
There's a lot. There's probably a lot more that do leave.
Well, I'm
but
saying
they don't leave like
most
real quick.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is most coaches jump around. Greatest college
Or get
football
fired
coach
and
ever.
then leave.
Greatest football coach ever, Nick Saban. How many colleges he coach at?
Well, I know we did LSU and Alabama. Those are the two that I know of with Saban. I'm sure there are other ones out there.
Coach at Michigan State.
That's right. He did.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Oh, was he fired? I don't know. I don't know the story. You probably do better than I do. Was Saban ever fired, or did he always leave all of his positions on his own?
I'm pretty sure he left on his own.
I think he left.
I was just asking.
Other than maybe the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
That's the only thing I'm asking. I know there's a lot of one-year coaches out there. I just would like to know, and I know nobody has that stat offhand, but I guess I'd be curious to know how many were fired though.
Ole Miss more than 1 year.
How many years
was
was he at
there
Ole
for a
Miss?
year.
Was he okay?
He was there for what? He was there, I think, 4 or 5 years.
I think for him though, at some point I feel like he should have stayed at Ole Miss. I think he should have tried to get the title at Ole Miss. Because if he goes to LSU, like I said this before, I feel like if he goes to LSU and gets the title, it's not going to mean as much. You know, I mean, that school can be got the title, but if he get a title at Ole Miss, to me that means something because they ain't never seen that.
Hey, if we're talking about coaches that should be leaving, I think it should be Kirby Smart. I think he's dumb. He should change his name to Kirby Smart. Kirby Dumb. I honestly just think he should stop being the head coach of Georgia because you got your natty title, but you still suck, sir.
Yeah, he was at Ole Miss for 5 years.
Okay. That's all I got. Unless y'all got anything else.
Yeah.
Happy
also,
birthday, Frankie.
Also tonight we've got the Thursday night hoops.
Yes.
We're talking some NBA. We'll be talking NBA best big three of all time. And we got a bracket that we're going to go over and discuss that. So tune in 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central.
I have something for Friday. Is the SEC still the so-called best conference in college football?
Are you kidding me? What's with the quotes? It's not the Big Ten. Don't be putting up no quotes. Yes, we still the best. We don't have to wait till Friday. Yeah, you sit there with your lean back and put your face close to the mic. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Chris, yes, we still the dominant. It don't matter. I don't care about your Big Ten and what your guys have done. You guys are soft, all right? SEC all the way. Let him know. Let him know, Jay. Jay, you tell him right now.
SEC is the best, but then again, you're taking advice from a guy that burned his hand twice in a fire pit and has no fingerprints. So do with that as you fucking will.
Never mind.
All I know is all I heard all year is the SEC is so much better than the Big Ten. The only reason the Big Ten teams have good records because they only play Big Ten teams. They don't play teams out of the Big Ten. But then then the bowl games come around. And I see the SEC go play teams outside the SEC, and they're losing. Most of them. And I go
we all knew that though, didn't we, Chris?
Wait a minute. Let me finish. I go see the Big Ten play outside the Big Ten conference and play in these bowl games. The Big Ten's won every one of them. Big Ten is 5-0. SEC's 2-4 in bowl games.
You know why?
I thought the SEC was the best conference. Why are they losing all these games to other conferences?
Chris, I'll tell you why. Because in the SEC, we don't care about bowls. We care about championships. And you're gonna find out. On Thursday, you're going to find out when the SEC knocks your Big Ten ass out of the playoffs. Big Ten
could have three of the Final Four teams. Big Ten could have 3 of the Final 4 teams.
But they can have 3 of the Final 4 and still walk away with 0.
But so could SEC, could they?
No.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
If Alabama beat IU.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
If Georgia met one of them 2, that's 2. Who's in the other game? It's
not
Ohio
SEC.
State. Yeah, so all they could do is 2 because it's Ohio State and Miami.
We could have Oregon, Ohio State, in Indiana, and then it could be Georgia or Ole Miss or whoever.
Well, whoever wins between Alabama and IU is going to face the winner of Ohio State and Oregon. So. Don't worry, Chris. We're going to knock you out, and then we're going to knock whoever else out, and then we're going to come back in here, and then we're just going to say, yeah, there it is. There's your answer. There's your answer, ladies and gentlemen, when Alabama knocks out the next 2 Big Ten teams.
Hey, you know why, Frankie? Because IU stands for Incomplete University. They can't even complete.
What teams have won the last two or three national championships? What conference?
Well, Oregon, Ohio won 2 out
What
of 3,
conference?
right?
Yeah,
Or no, one. Ohio only has 1.
Yeah, and who won the year before that?
That
Michigan.
was Michigan. Yeah, you're right.
Another Big Ten team, huh?
It's okay. You got 2 guys, 2 out of decades. Oh my God, that's like Frankie over there getting excited because he's got the best record of the Softer Sherman schedule. Let's put it back. Let's get some reality back in life. Okay, a little bit of reality. Let me get out
Chris
fantasy
is-
world.
you
Can we
just
get
made
out the
Chris
never-ending
lean forward.
story?
You made Chris lean forward, get off the camera, and mute himself. He's looking up stats right now. Oh my God, you just ruined it.
That's all I have. Hey man, much love for everybody out there, man, for tuning in and hanging out with us. Joe, appreciate you hanging out with us and whatnot. Frankie, man, happy birthday. Chris, Tony, Jay, myself, tonight,
I don't
Hoops
think Chris will
Talk,
let you
Big
walk away
3.
from this.
It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna
say
be a good time
everything
talking hoops. And Frankie, you should join us. I'd be curious to see who your Big 3 is, and I'm curious if it's gonna be a Lakers team.
I'm probably gonna be a bit too drunk. I'm probably gonna watch LeBron James play on his birthday. I'm hoping that he scores 33 points for me. If not, score 41 points for yourself, sir. Let everybody know what day it is. It's our birthday, twin day, LeBron. Let's get this dub tonight. And Chris, I think you got some stats. Jay, you're not walking away from this. Chris turned off his mic. He put off his camera. He leaned forward into his computer. He looked up some stats. I'm pretty sure he printed it out. He's reaching over to his printer right now. Stats. You messed up now, Jay.
He about to come hot. Hey, Chris about to come hot and heavy.
Oh no, I wasn't looking up stats.
No, it's Lakers Detroit tonight, right?
Is it?
Yeah, we played Detroit tonight.
Joe, we'll be after tonight's. I apologize. Joe, are we gonna have a show tomorrow? No, Joe, we won't be on tomorrow because that is New Year's or the New Year's Eve or whatever you want to call it. But we will be back. What's day? Today's Wednesday or Thursday?
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday, Jay.
Such a power. There ain't no freaking Tuesday. You know why I know today's not Tuesday? Because today's Tuesday.
Okay.
You know how I know today's Tuesday? You know how I know today's Tuesday? Ask me.
We're off Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be
I
back
was gonna
Friday
say
afternoon.
it was Tuesday because Tony's up there saying Thursday night hoops, just like 2 weeks ago on a Thursday. Jay was over there saying Tuesday night hoops on a Thursday. You guys get the days confused and mixed, but it is Tuesday, December 30th.
All right, so you get and I should have known that when I said Hoops Talks. I apologize. No, you get Hoops Talk tonight. We'll be back on Friday. Are we doing the show Thursday? I can't fucking remember. That's New Year's Day. No, so we'll be back on Friday after tonight. And with all that buffoonery, appreciate everybody tuning in. Check this out tonight. It's your boy Jay, Tony, Chris, and happy birthday, Frankie. Saying deuce.